Hi ladies, Mariel here. Welcome to day 2. I was going to do this on Zoom and stream it into the group, but Zoom just added a new live stream option in there that was screwing me up. So we are going to do it here directly. I'm going to wait for some of you to join me. If you're joining me live, definitely say I'm here. I'm showing up in the comments below. If you're catching this on the replay, I want to see if you caught it on the replay. I'm excited about today because, and I'm always excited about what sharing this information with you. Hi, Anne. Okay, I see that Karen is here. And by the way, I'm an Explorer Alchemist as well. So I just saw that you said that. And hi, Sheila. Yay. Okay. So yeah, I was saying I get really super excited about sharing this stuff. And again, I've been sifting through all of the content. It's so hard for me to pick things because I just have so much to say and there's so much. So today is going to be all about being heard, okay? And some of the things that really get in our way, when we really want to be heard, we want to get more engagement, things don't always go smoothly. So, we start blubbering all over ourselves, or tech doesn't necessarily work out the way that we wanted it to. So we have to always shift. We always have to have that ability to trust ourselves enough to receive what needs to come through us. And even when, like I said, things don't go exactly the way it's meant to happen, there is perfection and imperfection, and there is so much more room and space in your journey, in your visibility journey, when you allow things to be and you know how to flow with them. Like this little girl. So Wendy, hi Deb, good morning. Yeah, so Wendy, we are going to do it here. We're not going to do it in Zoom at all. Because, and it's okay. It's just that I wanted to actually share something that will be fine. We'll share it here. And like I said, it's always so important to learn how to flow and how to pivot. And I created a post earlier about that, actually. So in any case, today we are going to be talking about how to get seen. How to get heard, and how to actually be heard in a way where you are actually coming from a place of power, where you are coming from a place of authentic expression, which is really, really important when it comes to really being heard. Now, some of the problems that, like I said, people always tell me, they have, are how do I get people to engage with the things that I'm talking about? How do I know what to talk about? How do I know what to say? In what order should I be saying things like this? Yay, Anne, I'm so excited to see you in here. So this is an important day today because I'm really going to be sharing with you at the very end my formula on how to communicate on camera, how to engage your audience. There are so many variables in this whole thing, which is what makes it difficult to know what to share. But have you ever felt like I just really need to say, I need to have clarity about what I'm talking about? Anybody in here feels that way? And also, have you ever felt like I'm not sure exactly if I should say the same thing on Facebook versus Instagram, or should my message be slightly tweaked? So all of those things, I know. Yes, I know, Anne. Those are the things that really are the minutia. And we are going to talk, I'm going to give you a big overview of how to do this. And we're going to go deeper than most challenges go, because I just don't know how to not do that. But, and also the other thing that I get people ask me a lot is, well, How much is too much? When do I know that I'm sharing too much? So something that you should know about me is that I hardly ever do free stuff. I mean, I can do free things. I have a much bigger Facebook group. It's called the Modern Mystic Business Breakthrough. And that group has been populated by people that have bought entry-level offers from me. Okay, so they're all people that have already engaged and taken out their credit card and said, yes, I'm interested in what you have. Okay, so that's one of the big differences between the way I work and other people. I don't believe in freebies. I believe in creating and creating from a place of sacredness and creativity, and there has to be an energetic exchange. When I do create free stuff, it's for the people that there's already been an energetic exchange somewhere, and that's just something that I live by. So I help a lot of my clients create entry-level sexy I call them entry-level sexy offers, and just like, journeys. So the reason I'm telling you that is because you do not have to give away all of your hard-earned wisdom for free, okay? And I'm going to teach you ways of doing this where you don't necessarily need to go all in tech, although I do love my tech now. But you can actually, there are ways that you can get paid as you go and as you share. But in order to do this, you need to know what to talk about for free, right, in your content, and what stuff is actually you're going to keep in the back pocket. So I'm going to talk about that. So let me hear you. Let me see what you're saying here. So Karen says, this definitely resonates. Yay! I've left my Instagram for the last 2 years apart from an occasional post. I don't share all my past, even though it's very interesting. Yeah, you're very interesting, woman, Ann. We're so lucky to have you in the Mystic group. I love you. Thank you. Making me blush. So with that said, I'm going to go over all of that today. But before we move on, I want to hear from you. Who in here did the homework? Because this is a really important piece, okay? And the way I'm gonna explain this is actually going to you're gonna use your visualization powers, your imagination, and it's gonna land deeply inside of you, and I know this. And so let me see who did it. All right, so Sheila did it. Yay. I know a lot of you did it. So the first thing I want you to do is I want you to bring out that sheet of paper with all of your beliefs about who you are today. Now, if you did this correctly, these beliefs are honest, and they're no-brainers. We don't walk, most of us, you may actually, in this group we may, but most people don't walk around saying, I'm an empowered goddess. That's something that we get to, we learn, we train ourselves how to do, but it's not necessarily something that's common sense to most people. So the idea was that yesterday you were meant to create this list of things that you naturally can say, I am this. I'm a mother, I am a graduate, I am a good person, I suck at cooking, I'm trying to get visible but can't seem to do this right. Like whatever it is, I want you to write all of those things down, and I want you to imagine that there's this big triangle, okay? Sacred triangle. And on one side of the triangle is who you are today and everything. And by the way, you don't have to share this with us, so you can be totally honest with yourself. So on the left-hand side is exactly all the statements of who you are today. All right. And then what I would love for you to share is then I want you to know by now, what is that deep desire that you want for your business? Okay. And as I explained it yesterday, it could be something really big. Like it doesn't necessarily have to be something super super niche, super defined. It could be pretty big. It just needs to feel really good to you. And it needs to be like, you know what, this is what my heart really, really wants. So I don't want you to think about the how is this going to happen. It's more of, this is what I want. For example, Anne says, I have my list. Awesome. Thank you, baby, for sharing that. For example, I gave you guys the example of, if you are super clear about what you want, maybe you want to make a certain amount of money and you know exactly where that money would go. Maybe you are really looking, you can really see yourself creating this digital empire, and you can see it and it looks so big, but you have no idea where to start, and you can see yourself influencing people and changing people's lives. And that desire comes from right here, okay? So I want you to write that desire down, and then I want you to really think about, who do you have to be in order for that to be true? So let's just say that you are at $5,000 a month and you want your new normal to be $50,000 a month. And you really want that. Like, that is something that you really, really, really want. Okay, so you're going to ask yourself, who do I have to become in order to have this be my new normal? And you may come up with things such as, I really need to be a better leader. I need to be more confident. I need to know my offers. I need to be really visible and confident being visible, right? I want to be doing videos. I need to be, so everything that you can come up with that this new version needs to be. Okay, so you have the list of who you are right now, the list of that next version of who you are then. And then at the very top of the triangle, you're going to write the word audience. Okay, and that is your audience. And on the side of the triangle, you have two sides, right? So is your communication. And I want you to think of it this way. As the you now, how does this person communicate with your ideal clients, right? And that next version of yourself, how does that person communicate? And you're going to get a sense of there's definitely a different vibe. And the reason that vibe is there, the reason why there is a different vibe is because from the current version of yourself, there is a ton of imposter syndrome, okay? Because there is that bottom part of the triangle. And that bottom part of the triangle is really the gap between that needs to get filled, right? That needs to collapse, all right? And so the way that we collapse that gap is going to be, go ahead, Lucky. Sorry. The way that we collapse that gap is by learning how to manage our vibration, how to change our vibration, how to step into that next version of ourselves. Is this resonating? Yes, Lucky. And knows Lucky. Is this resonating with you all? So I want you to really think of what is so different about this new next version of yourself. What are some of the things that really are legit, not just like, oh, well, she feels more empowered. Like, what are some of the things that she's already got handled that you in your current reality don't have yet? It could be that this next version of you has a way different relationship with money. Maybe this next version of yourself has a very different relationship with advertising, or a very different relationship and thoughts about serving her clients, right? Maybe she feels totally entitled to speak about her offers because she loves her offers. So when you get that clear about where you're at right now and where you need to be, you're going to get more clarity on what needs to happen in your journey. So Sheila says, truly believing I can help people. Huge. This is huge. I mentioned this yesterday. One of the biggest reasons that women I think people in general, but I think more women, don't build their businesses is because they're not sure that they can truly help someone. Okay? So what needs to happen in order for you, Sheila, to feel totally confident that you can help someone? And I'm going to give you an exercise. I want you to write down 30 things that get to happen for your ideal clients when they work with you. And you can't stop until you get to 30. Okay? Let me know if you're in for that challenge. And anybody else that wants to do that, please go ahead. This is actually really simple. I love lists, but this one is really powerful because by the time you get to that to the bottom of the list, you're just like, "Oh my God. I can't believe how much impact I can have in someone's life." So Karen says, I desire to create healing experiences in gorgeous settings for women and get paid handsomely for my energy. Amazing. I love that. Yes, good, Sheila. I love that. I have a ton of clients who do retreats. And let me tell you, they are transformative. So Karen, what gets to happen for your ideal clients when they go to these retreats? Okay. Let me tell you, energetically, you have to get in touch with that end result that your ideal client is going to get. Because if you are not 100% sure about what that result is going to look like, then it's going to be really hard for you to speak from your heart and for you to have calls to action. And that's absolutely what needs to happen in order for you to be heard. You have to be speaking from your heart. You have to be able to have offers, like I said, that you absolutely 100% believe in. Okay? I know without a shadow of a doubt, that anyone who enters the Modern Mystic Mastermind and graduates is going to build a business and their leadership is going up 1,000,000%. I know that. But I have to be honest with you. It didn't start out that way. I remember having the fear of, oh my God, this is what I want to create for them. How am I going to actually create that? Right? But here's what happens. And this is why it's called a quantum leap. As soon as that current version of you starts acting in trust, in total trust and faith, as that next version of yourself starts feeling like that next version of themselves, starts taking action from that next version of themselves, that's when the quantum leap happens and it collapses. And then all of a sudden you're not operating anymore out of imposter syndrome. Now you're operating out of power. And this is very different, because if you operate from this alignment and power, you don't have to have 1 million followers. You don't have to have a ton of anything. All you have to do is show up and everything that you do is going to get magnified by the universe. Okay. Now I'm not saying that you're not going to have to do work. The work is just part of the job, the job. And one of the things, if you've ever worked with me before, or been in any of my other weekly masterminds or things like that, you'll know that I am not someone who believes that, oh, just sit down and meditate and it's going to come to you and fairies are going to put your business together. That's bullshit. It's not happening. But what I am saying is that as soon as that gap is collapsed, your message is going to be heard because you are coming from that next version of yourself. And that next version of yourself is coming directly from your higher self. Okay? Now I know I'm a business coach here, but I really, really believe in this. And I know that you all believe in this as well. And when you start doing that, so really there's a lot of work to be done, but it's the work is right here. And that work, that is totally you. When we do the work of healing ourselves, that's when our message starts to just flow. That's when our products and our systems and the right people start coming into your life. That's when you align with the right stuff. And that's how businesses get built. This is exactly how it happens, okay? So let me know if this is resonating for you. And if you are done with speaking and creating content out of imposter syndrome. And if you are ready to create content that is really going to transform people's lives and your bank account, you have to know there's a few things that need to happen in order for you to get clients. And it's not that difficult. It's all numbers. You have to have the right product in front of the right people and have enough of those people. Okay? If you have those three things, you're good. You're good. You're going to get clients. This is how it happens, right? So once you start creating content, and one of the reasons that I absolutely love video is because this content, if you do it correctly, and I'm going to show you how to do it today. Well, I'm going to give you an overview, and if you want to take it further, I'll give you a way that you can work with me later. But what you're going to do is you're going to create these videos saying the right thing, and I'm going to tell you what that is, and put it in front of the right people. And let me tell you that while you're at the grocery store, people are watching your replays. You are going to get people sending you messages, sending you emails. Oh my God, you said this, and it really changed my life, and it really changed my perspective. I actually, took this action and I got an amazing result. Thank you so much. And Mariel, I want to have a conversation with you. I want to work with you. So all of that gets to happen when you create the right content, especially videos. Okay. So let me see. Deb says here, Anne says, do this exercise well because it will help you write all sorts of things. Yes, Anne, you did this before. This is an amazing exercise. The one about the 30, writing down 30 things that get to happen for your ideal client. Deb says, my ideal client knows that she is a goddess who is creating the future of. I love that. I think I read that earlier or somewhere else in the group. And yeah, so I think that's a really good segue for us to talk about what are you going to say to this goddess who knows that she is here to birth a whole new species. Okay? So one of the biggest mistakes made is that when we are on that left side of the triangle and that we are operating from unconscious, self-sabotaging imposter syndrome, is that we tend to go to what we feel comfortable talking about. And so we end up talking about things like our techniques. We end up talking about things like, just pretty quotes. We end up talking about just random stuff that we're passionate about. And here is the very first mistake, and you should write this down. The very first mistake is that you should not be talking about your passions. It's more of talking about their pain points and their desires. Because if you think about it, when we're scrolling through Facebook or Instagram or anything, it's always out of curiosity, but then there's always this underlying sense of what's in it for me, okay? So the way that you are going to be heard is by knowing how to dive into and create content based on their desires and based on their obstacles as well. So it's always about your ideal client. So in this case, for example, for Deb, you're super clear about who your ideal client is, and that is the first step, no doubt. Okay, so you're super clear that she's a goddess and she knows she's consciously birthing a whole new species. So she's operating from, but this person also has a ton of insecurities and doesn't know how to do something and pain points and desires. These are the things that we need to be talking about. Does that make sense, Deb? My website and course is called Birth. What's in it for me? I love it. That's awesome. So it's really important that we speak to their desires and to their fears as well. It's really, really important that you share your story. Okay. If you want to build connection, it is so important to share your story. And your story needs to make sense. Now, one of the things I get asked the most is, well, my story is so long. Like, there's which story? Okay. You have a brand story that perhaps is such a blind spot to you because it's just been there. And this brand story is what gave birth to your desire to serve. Even if you don't have your signature system done, even if you don't have your offers created, nothing, okay? There is a story that gave birth to that. For example, what happened to me and the system that I help, that I teach and that we all go through in the mastermind, it was birthed from a period in my life where I had 6 months before I had to have brain surgery. And in those 6 months, I decided that I was going to heal my body. I decided that I was going to build a business from scratch. I was in coaching back in my 20s, went away from doing that, was coming back. It was a whole new world. Now it's a digital world, right? So I was determined. I had those 6 months where I was determined to heal my body, where I was determined to manifest clients. I was deeply in debt, and I was in a relationship that I hated. You know, I did not want to be with this person anymore. By the way, we're still together. And now that, you know, once I healed myself, our relationship healed. That's how it works. So anyways, that was my story, right? So if you go to my website, if you go to, when somebody applies to work with me, they always know who I am and what I stand for. How did she come up with this stuff? So I want you, and this is actually going to be your assignment for today. I want you to get in touch with the story that gave birth to your desire to serve others. Okay. And, I know this can be, this is actually, I might be opening up a can of worms. And, you know, I can't go over all the specifics in here. If you want to go into the specifics of how to create your story, really, we can do that. We do that in the mastermind. But here are some tips for you to get started. All right. What were you thinking? What were you thinking in that moment where you decided that you wanted to help others? Okay. What are some of the obstacles that you went through? How did you overcome those obstacles? And when did you have that aha moment? All right. So if you can write those down, and definitely might have to go back to the replay here to see those. But in any case, write that down, and I want you to create a video, and I want you to post it in the group and tell us what contrast did you have to go through to that launch that desire to serve others. All right. So whenever we share our story, it creates connection. We are wired for connection, and we are wired for stories. And stories not only create connection, but they also stay. They stick. They have stickativity. Okay, so it's really important for you to document this piece of your journey. And if you think about it, every major brand has a brand story. Okay. Okay. So the other thing that I wanted to talk to you about, let me look at my list here. Okay, now how are you going to do this video? All right, so one of the things that you need to know is that people have very short attention spans. They get shorter and shorter all the time, but they're probably not going to get much shorter than what they are right now. I mean, if you think of TikTok, if you think of Reels, that's as short as it's ever going to get. But people are always going to have one thing, and that's called curiosity, okay? So as marketers, because let me tell you, you will have to adopt the marketing hat. You will have to know and consciously want to put it on. And don't think of it as, oh, now I have to be a marketer. No, you're going to think about it. Now I'm going to put on my crown because I am a boss babe, goddess, queen. That's who I am. Okay? We are here to serve, and therefore we have to face our dragons, those gremlins, and we have to get things done, right? So learning how to speak, learning how to create content, this is just all part of what you've committed to, you know, what you signed up for way before. All right. So very first thing I want you to do, and definitely take notes, and I will send this to you in the document that we have for day 2 as well. So, but still take notes, because taking notes is powerful. It creates transformation right away. Okay, so you're going to go straight to the point, and so you're not going to go, somebody earlier said I ramble a lot. So it really depends on where you are speaking. So if your audience is cold, warm, or hot, and that's a topic for another day. But in general, what you want to do, let's assume you have a cold audience and they don't know you, like you, or trust you yet. The very first 3 seconds is so important. So if you're gonna go live, the very first thing that you're gonna say is, hey you guys, I'm so excited to be here. I'm going to be talking about XYZ. And that XYZ is literally directly linked to what you know they want to learn, right? What do they want to understand more? What are their pain points? What are their frustrations? That's what you're always speaking to. That's what's going to captivate them. So those first 3 seconds are really important. So after those 3 seconds, you can go into introducing yourself and what you do. That's really important as well. So every time you go live, you're going to talk about their pain points. You can share your story if you want, a mini version of your story. Let them know that you understand where they're at right now and what they're struggling with. Okay? So you understand their problems. And also, before you give them any tips, let them know what happens when the problem is solved. When the problem is solved, this is what it looks like. And then the last thing you're going to do is you're going to give them your tips. It could be 1 tip, 2 tips, 3 tips. But here's my golden rule. I always like doing 1 or 2. I can do 1 sometimes, but one of them should be for free. The other tip that you give them should be directly linked to something you sell. Okay? So in today's assignment, you're not going to necessarily do this. That's fine, because we're going to work up to this throughout the 5 days. But when you're talking to someone about, or giving them advice, giving them some tips, one of those tips is just going to be a free tip, you know, and it's going to be an overview of. You're always giving people overviews. You're never really telling them how to do it when you're talking to cold audience, because it's overwhelming. And that's when you end up giving away your hard-earned knowledge for free. And that's not fair to you. And if you do that, there's going to be an energetic break, and you're basically just feeding the imposter syndrome. Okay? Really important that you understand this. Let me know that you understand what I'm saying right here. If you give away everything for free and when you're talking to cold audience, this is why people can't stay consistent. Okay, it's really important. You deserve to get paid, and this is how you do it. So then the next thing that you're going to do is you're going to say, and here's another tip. If you want to learn more about this, join here, click here, buy my entry-level sexy offer, join my challenge. There's always something that leads them somewhere. So Toby says energetic exchange is important. It's totally important. I mean, when there is no energetic exchange, you're basically building a sandcastle, in my opinion. Yes, Deb, they don't. They will never get a transformation for something that they're not invested in. And I'm so passionate about this, which is, look, you know, I created this challenge, and I wanted you to say yes. That's what I want. 7 is my favorite number, and I wanted you to say yes and be invested. That was my vision. Okay. So, okay, so this is how you do it. And then the last thing is always you always have to have a call to action. Always. The call to action doesn't necessarily have to always be buy something from me, but it can be, you know, like this, share it. What do you think? You want to learn more, set up a conversation. Let's set up a discovery call. Join my free group. Those are the things that are okay. And I know I said, you know, about the free stuff, but the free groups are so powerful. And I used to, I really honestly didn't always love having, or the idea of having a group, because it just made me feel like, oh my God, you know, this is going to be a lot of work. It is one of my favorite things to do. I love, love, love building community. All right. The most important, it's to build an email list. Now, last week, I think, was it last week that the Facebook outage happened? I think it was. So last week that happened, and I think a lot of people woke up in that regards, you know. Facebook may not be around, Instagram may not be around, you know, this stuff will change, and it's going to change really fast. I don't think they're going anywhere, but we just saw how vulnerable things can be. It's really important that you have an email list and that you are building a connection with your people. And that comes later, but I want you to have that in your radar, because it's going to be important to the longevity of your business and to your connection with people. Okay, so let me know if you understand that. Okay, so let's see. Anne says, investing in what you're doing is vital. Absolutely. And again, it says you only own your email list and website. That's it. That's it. That's all we own. Your email list and your website. And if you don't have a path so that you are building that consciously, then it's hard. Okay. So, all right, now let's talk a little bit. So does anyone have any questions about this? I don't know if is it pretty clear? Want to make sure that you understand that your goal today is to really dig into who you are right now, who you are becoming, what are the I ams of this new version of you. Okay, I love doing this actually. I do this for myself all the time. I work on my mindset like it's my full-time job, because I know that my mindset and my soul technologies is what drives my business. That's what gets me to show up powerfully. That's what gets me to say, you know what, I'm powerfully turning this off and I'm going to go play. That's why I know I don't need to go and chase people on DMs and you know, post all over in free Facebook groups. I don't do that. Goddesses don't chase. I always say that. Goddesses don't chase, and you are a goddess and you don't have to chase anyone. So it's really important that you live and work from power and not from imposter syndrome. If there's anything that you can take from this today, is that. Collapse that gap. And the message that goes from this person or this person matters. It really, really deeply matters. So before you put anything out there, say, is this coming from me, or is this coming from the next version of me? That's how the quantum leap happens. So Anne says the 30 benefits a client will get from working with you. Yes. Who we are becoming, and what are the I ams of the person we are becoming. Yeah, the I ams of that new version of you are really different. And if you want to even take it a step further, meditate with those new I ams. And however you meditate, and it's so powerful, so powerful. So the one thing I will say, the disclosure, and then then we're going to talk about the archetypes here. The disclosure is that at the beginning, creating content from this new version of yourself is going to feel painful. And it is, because listen, you are in the middle of transformation. You are in the middle of elevation. You are getting into a whole new spiral, step in that spiral case. And there's pain. There's pain because there are old stories that are dying. You are healing. You are doing all kinds of things consciously or subconsciously because you're collapsing something, right? So, and this is important for you to understand because I think that it's really important that you know that getting visible, speaking your truth, having the audacity that has never happened in human history before. Okay? The audacity to say, I am ready to get seen. I am ready to get heard. I'm ready to get paid. As a woman, it's a big fucking deal. Really, really big. Right? So, yeah, there's going to be a little pain. There's going to be a little it's going to be uncomfortable. This is why, and so what I was going to say is it's journey. It's not a destination. It is a journey. Okay. And if you're anything like me, I mentioned yesterday that some of my personal archetypes and aspects of myself, I can be a hermit. So you can imagine how for me, it's been a visibility journey. And this is why I teach it. And this is why I was given that wound. I was given that wound because I needed to deeply understand it in order to be able to fulfill my purpose and help you. So Sheila says, Deb says, yeah, it is a big deal. What we're doing here together, ladies, is a really big deal. And the things that you are going to be creating, the products you're going to be creating, and some of you are going to be automating those products. This is next level. This has never been done before. So that's why I'm so big about teaching you the truth. The truth is you collapse that gap and it's game over. That's the truth. Let's see. Sheila says, I posted videos in my stories yesterday and I had massive vulnerability hangover. Yeah, I know. But Sheila, here's my question. What is the worst thing that can happen? And I really want you to answer that, ladies. So whenever you are about to post something, when you are about to share something, you have that vulnerability, right there, I want you to ask yourself, what's the worst thing that can happen? And write it down. Well, right now I feel like crap. Then my husband's going to see it and my Aunt Sally's going to see that. And then I'm going to be ousted from the tribe. And then I am going to, I'm going to feel even more vulnerable. And then I'm not going to have a shelter over my head. And then I'm not going to eat. Then I'm going to die. Everything ends in death. Yes or no? Am I right or am I wrong? Everything. Subconsciously. At a subconscious level, it's always about survival. So when we write these things down, and again, ladies, I'm just your mirror because you already teach this. So at a subconscious level, it's just like, am I really going to die? Probably not. So once you do that, Sheila, once, twice, 3 times, and you just make that part of your journey, what happens is you start creating momentum. And I call this visibility momentum. In this journey. Inside the mastermind, we do an entire 30-day journey. And by the time you're done with that 30-day visibility journey, you're a completely different person. You don't even, showing up is actually fun. And by the way, the only way to stay consistent is by making it fun. Yesterday you guys saw me do a silly video, right? It took me 2 minutes to do that stupid video. And it was fun. It was just fun. And I'm a really deep person. So sometimes for me, it can be heavy to create so much deep content, especially for a cold audience. A cold audience. And like I said, the temperatures, I can't go into all of that. But when you are talking to a cold audience, it's hard sometimes to get that deep. But there's a way, and that's what I'm saying. And Spirit will give you the way the more you do it, the more you commit to it. And before I talk about the archetypes, and hold on, let me read this. It says, Deb is saying, what you want is on the other side of your fear, 1,000,000%. It is. That's what go to my Instagram and see the post today that I have. And it's all about one day you're going to see that mountain that's right now in front of you, and you're going to look back at it, you're like, oh my God, I remember that mountain. And you're going to realize that the reason that mountain was there was because of the person that you're becoming. It's like that fear, overcoming that is everything. It's game over after that. And everyone in here has such beautiful messages. Beautiful, transformative, life-altering. Let's start living and acting from that next version of ourselves. I was going to say something I forgot. It'll come back to me. See how it's coming back? Okay, so a lot of you took the test yesterday, the assessment test. I have 3 assessment tests. This is one of them. And the highest score is your main archetype, and then you have your supporting archetype, right? So you have 2. Now, I am going to post in here a link so that you can read the descriptions of every single one of those archetypes. Now, how do I use these archetypes in visibility? These are called branding with archetypes, and it's one of my certifications. I'm authorized to use this assessment test from one of my favorite coaches ever. Kendall Summerhawk, I don't know, you guys might know who she is. But what you do is once you read about who you are, it also has a ton of languaging that you can be using. It tells you who your ideal clients tend to be. It'll actually give you like the explorer. You attract people that are interested in these types of brands, okay? These are some of the key words that you can be using in your messaging, okay? So that you can be heard loud and clear. So remember, we're symbolic beings. We're archetypal beings. We understand archetypes and language on such a fast level. And so when you use the right keywords and you get used to using them over and over, it really does makes a huge difference in your message. So I'm going to share that with you all, and I'm excited to see. Now, a lot of you in here are alchemists. I attract alchemists because I'm an alchemist, but it doesn't mean. But I'm also an explorer, and I also have ruler in me. So it doesn't mean that I will only attract alchemists, okay? It means that I attract the people that are looking for that experience at that particular time in their life. Does that make sense? So that's going to be really fun for you to do. So remember, today your assignment is you're going to create a video. You're in a completely safe, loving environment here. You don't even need to post it anywhere else unless you want to. And I'm going to give you guys a prize. Anyone that posts their video on social media and tags me, I am going to give you something for free. And it's actually a topic calendar that I have as part of another course. And this calendar gives you exact topics that you can be talking about. So a lot of you have asked me, Mariel, what do I say? This has over 300 ideas of things you can talk about. So if you post your video on social media, and you don't have to if you don't want to, but I do want you to post it here so that we can get the momentum going. But if you do, those brave souls out there, and you tag me, then I'm going to send you the PDF of those topics. And you know what? Most people know me because I created this entire system, and I'm giving some of that to you for free. So can you restate the challenge, please? Yes. So, and the challenge is that you're going to create a video telling people about what made you want to have your business. Like what situation did you have to overcome? What story gave you the idea to start this? Okay. I love it. Yes, you do have that. You do have the topics. Do this. This is going to be radically freeing. And yes, Sheila, you may have a little bit of a vulnerability hangover, but that's okay. Again, like I said, here's another thing that I'll say about vulnerability. You don't have to say everything, okay? You don't. I get that. You can tell people what you want to tell them. You have the power. You have the power of sharing the pieces that you want to share. And it's important. And it's important that you do this because a lot of people are like, oh, I have to sit down and write it down. You know, you can give people a condensed version. You can give them a snippet of what it was like. But be creative. Like, you can totally do this. I totally know that you can do this. So Anne says, feel the fear and do it anyways. Yes, baby, that's right. Talk with a purpose. So the video can be, I recommend doing videos between 15 seconds and 15 minutes. But truthfully, because it's so attention spans are shorter and shorter, I recommend anywhere between 5 and 7 minutes for something like this. This is probably good. Now you're talking to someone that's super long-winded. And here's the thing about time. As long as you are captivating people, as long as you are talking about what they care about, it can be a whole hour and they will watch. Okay? So that's the trick here. So 2 things. You are going to go through the archetypes. You're going to pick out your words. There's also some descriptions. Like if you're somebody who struggles with, not knowing what to call yourself, like, oh, am I a coach, or am I a mentor, or am I, take a look, because it will give you some titles that you can be using. That's why I'm the business alchemist, right? Because I'm an alchemist and I'm an explorer. The explorer is definitely part of my business, my love of entrepreneurship. So that's it, you guys. Tomorrow, midwife. Yes, and actually, Deb, this is what I truly consider myself. I consider myself a midwife of sacred products. I absolutely do, because I am so creative. And when people tell me that they don't know if they have an entry-level sexy offer in them, or they don't know how to create this journey for their clients, I'm like, oh, that's my favorite part. Because I love creating those journeys, because I just know the ripple effects that they have. So I really resonate with the whole midwife thing. I'm a ruler, and ruler is actually my 3rd. But funny enough, people don't see me as a ruler, but I know that it's the ruler within me that creates the structures. So all of these archetypes, and I'm so geeky about them, I love them, they all work together, and we have all of them, just in different capacities, and sometimes they get in, little fights with each other. Sometimes they're projecting out of us negatively. Sometimes they just want our attention and our love. And this is all self-love. That's a whole nother topic. See, I'm telling you, this is very hard for me. I don't even know how long I've gone. Oh my God, I've gone for almost a whole hour. All right, you guys. So tomorrow I will be back. We are going to be talking about how to get felt, okay? How to create that true heart connection. We're going to go down the rabbit hole, and I'm going to give you some more insights into getting visible with your videos, and we have a fun video for tomorrow, all right? So Karen says, excited to read about the artist and alchemist. Yes, all right, so I will see you all in the group, and I will be posting these as soon as I get off, all right? Love you all. Mwah. Peace out.